Welcome, dear listeners, to AOC Podcast. My name is Clemensor. I'm known in the community for streaming Age of Empires and casting Age of Empires from time to time on Woobly Official. And this is the first episode of the AOC Podcast I was planning for like a month now or so. And today's topic will be the AOC community. In this podcast, I will cover several topics with several guests I think that are suitable for the certain topic. And yeah, today it's AOC community, and my guest is T90 Official, who is known for his YouTube channel and also his casting and streaming from time to time. Hello, Mr. T90.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this. It'll be fun.
Will be fun, yeah. How did you come up with your name T90 Official or T90?
People ask me that all the time.
Like, is 90 your birth year? Like,
No, it's not
1990?
even. It's 93, so it's silly.
Oh,
But
okay.
my first name starts with a T, so there's that. But it has nothing to do with the tank, which people always ask me because apparently there's a
Which
Russian tank.
Oh,
There's a Russian
there's a Russian
tank or
tank called
something.
T90.
Yeah,
Right.
and also there's a cleats which I wear that are T90s, like football cleats. So.
But it's not that
Um,
as well.
It's not that either. At least I don't think it was.
Okay.
I really don't know. I just thought
When
my
did you when
original
did you come
username
when did you come up first with that name?
years ago, because when I first started playing Age of Empires just for like the computer, before I even knew there was online play, um, I did T90 XVI. I with like Roman numerals. I wanted to
Yeah,
sound like
XBI
really
is like 16.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, there's no real significance to the 16. I was like a child.
It sounded
So.
good. It sounded good.
Yeah, it sounded
XBI.
like like King Henry the 16th, but it was a T90. I don't know. It's really nothing well thought out, but I stuck with it.
Okay, nice. So, let's go on into the topic. So, as an AOC community, I think the AOC community grew significantly in the last years. I can't really speak too much about the past because I'm fairly new to the community. But I think especially Steam brought a lot of new players into the game. It brought you into the game as well, did it? Well, at least
It
in the
did
online play.
correct. Yeah. Like I said, I knew the game existed and I always enjoyed it. I had an older brother who played online years ago on MSN Zone
Oh,
or
that was
Gaming
like,
Zone.
but that was like ages ago, right?
Yeah, he's
Like
11
early
years older than me.
2000s, early
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah, I'm the kid in the family. So like I would watch him play. I thought it was so cool. So I just downloaded the disc. It wasn't like it was awful graphics and everything, no patches or anything. And
Yeah.
then I saw Steam released it, and I thought that's all there was. And
I
now
think
obviously
that's
we
that's
found
that's
everything else.
still a majority of players only think there's Steam, even on Steam. I think more and more players get to know, especially Woobly nowadays, but there's still so many players who don't know anything about Woobly or don't know anything about online play actually, which is fascinating in my opinion because if you get to know the game more and if you're interested into the game, you're especially in these times where the internet is so big and everything, you eventually stumble over it, right?
Yeah, you're right. And you see a lot of people kind of they come back to the game, and you'll see comments on Facebook maybe where the Age of Empires 2 their main page will post something or an image, and they'll comment, "You can still play this game," and they'll come back, but they don't come back to Voobly. They come back to Steam because they think they have to repurchase it all over again.
Yeah, because
Um,
it's an official release actually. So
exactly. So
and like what I see a lot of players think, especially Steam players, when they heard of Woobly, like they think of Woobly as a separated game, not really a client who is a client
yeah,
for the old game. They think for it as Woobly, like the Woobly version of AOC, not like the old AOC, but the Woobly version. Like there's the Steam HD version, there's the Woobly version, which is kind of true because they have the user patch and everything, but it's still the old game, and I think that a lot of people, a lot of players confuse that a little bit because the way Woobly is spoken of.
yeah, I'm familiar having come to Voobly and been at one point like ranked in the top 150 on Steam,
Yeah.
and I'm familiar with the confusion of people not wanting to come to Voobly because I've voiced it, once I moved over. A lot of people don't think that Voobly is going to be able to be played in HD.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. That's of course a thing that is normal to think. I wouldn't think of that either.
Yeah, so they don't think it's going to be played in HD. They also there's just a lot of different things that they think the community is going to be worse, and it's just real weird. They never try. And I think that's the biggest problem as a whole, not Steam. All the different communities that are out there. It's not just Steam and Voobly. Is that people are too comfortable where they're at. I would say that obviously Voobly is the biggest AOC community, and it's where all the big players.
It's the most consistent. I would say it's the most consistent one.
Yeah.
Overall, like, if you really move on Voobly, you're here to stay, basically.
Yeah. And especially the fact that they're hosting all the big tournaments. Most of the top players are playing there.
Yeah.
And also their platform's very good for running. They have pretty much all the top features. And if I would have never known that had I just not downloaded the client, and in my case downloaded the patch.
Yeah. That's
So
but there wasn't really a lot of spreading that patch. Basically, they didn't really, especially from Voobly's side as well. They didn't really get it out there. They didn't do huge advertising. The only way I often distributed the patch was if when someone was asking, yeah, can I play on? I have HD. How can I play this? And yeah, there's a patch you can play on Voobly, whatever. In the Twitch chat, I don't know how many times, at least 24 times, linked that patch in a certain Twitch stream. Twitch chat or anything on my stream or on other streams.
Yeah, I googled it, and to be honest, when I googled it, it was like 6th down on the Google list. So
which is odd to think of, because what did you Google exactly?
I googled and I could probably do it right now, but anyway, I googled play Age of Empires HD on Voobly or something like that. It's
that would be the first thing to come up, though. What would be another thing? It would be other Reddit or threads where the same question is asked?
It wasn't even pertaining to it, and it's really odd. You think that they would it would come up first. So they're obviously, even the people, if they want to come, they're having some issues getting there.
I don't know actually who the real inventor of this patch is, of this I don't speak that word. I can't. Compatibility patch, right?
Yeah, compatibility patch. I'm not sure either.
It's a hard word.
It says it was a community created patch.
Yeah, I don't know who exactly invented it. I think you'll see on the side. I don't know, but yeah, it's a great effort, I think.
Yeah, it's certainly good. A lot of people don't want to buy the original disc again, especially after they bought the original Steam version. So
yeah, I can totally understand it. Buying the Steam version is I don't really want, because they had the original as a tiered one, but I don't really want to. But I guess with the sale, yeah, I'm going to buy it. And now if they have to move to Voobly again, they're like, oh no, I'm not going to buy that shit again.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, shit, you know what I mean, but I'm not going to buy that again, even if it's $5. It's just, you don't want to pay for the same thing 3 times over.
I went through that specifically with a friend of mine who we played a lot at CBA. He's mainly CBA player on Steam, and I was like, come to Voobly, it's great. They have a larger CBA community, more competitive. And he's like, I'm not paying for the game again. He's like, forget it. And the patch wouldn't work at first. He's like, forget it, it's not happening. But it eventually worked for him, so.
But the CBA community on Voobly is very separate from RM and DM on Voobly.
Oh, definitely.
They are it's like AOC Zone, which is for the RM and DMers on Voobly. Well, DM is pretty dead. And then there's the Voobly forums, which is totally overtaken by basically CS players.
Yeah.
Which is funny. But the CS community is, well, if it goes after the CS community on Voobly, the CS community is always dying, like the past several years.
Yeah.
It's always dying. It's always getting worse. Everyone's unhappy, but they still play and it works out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately there's going to be some really skilled CBA players, right? But if those players are really skilled, I think they should really be taking their talents to the rank match DM, and that's probably what's happening if it is dying. I'm not familiar with the numbers anymore,
I just said they are always saying that it's dying. I'm not saying that it's dying. I
Yeah,
don't really
I've
know.
seen
I don't
that as
really know
well.
too much about the CS community, but I actually wanted to cover the CS community another time. I think. Let's go over to another client, Game Ranger. Have you any experience with Game Ranger? Did you play on the Game Ranger ever?
Yeah, I used it. Um, I actually this is coming back to me. So earlier I said Steam was the first time I played online. Game Ranger I played once or twice, and I literally played with my mouse pad. I didn't even have a mouse.
With a mouse pad? I think no, a friend of mine once played with a mouse pad. I can't, literally can't understand how he can play with a mouse pad.
I mean, obviously there was no build order, and there was obviously I was not very competitive with it. I was just kind of enjoying it. Not that you can't enjoy a competitive game, but it was poor. But I started on Game Ranger on my old laptop, um, and they had a lot of games at the time, but I don't know the current. You might know more than
There's
me.
still a lot of games going on there. I haven't been there for like a year or something. Like
Uh-huh.
a friend of mine introduced me to it because we wanted to have a good solution to play like apart from each other. You know,
Yeah.
we used to play 1v1s a lot, like friendly 1v1s. We didn't know about online gameplay or a competitive scene in that time, but just wanted to have a solution if you want to play apart from each other. And yeah, Game Ranger was one of these. I think he googled it, online play Age of Empires, and Game Ranger was the first thing to come up. And Woobly was this. Well, we weren't sure what Woobly is. We couldn't really grasp it. It was just out there and
Yes. Yes.
unfamiliar and everything. And HD, he didn't want to buy HD. I bought it by the time, and then I found my original disc again. So we played on Game Ranger, and it wasn't too bad. The lag wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty good because we played on the Forgotten. We didn't play the original. We played the
Okay.
Forgotten mod, which is basically like user patch in terms of performance improvement. In my
Yeah, yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Yeah. So we played the original unofficial Forgotten expansion in that time, which was really funny, actually. But yeah, that was another thing that I well found through Google basically.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it's that way.
Yeah.
One thing that I did notice at the time, and like I said, it was a bit time ago, is that I think Game Ranger is used for things other than AOC. Um,
Yeah, a lot
they
of other
had a
games.
little bit.
But same
Yeah.
goes for Woobly.
Well, I'm looking at Voobly now, and I could be maybe they don't have the whole game list here, but they don't have they have they certainly have Age of Mythology.
Yeah, and Age of Empires 3. But to be honest, the games different from Age of Empires 2 or Age of Empires in general are
Oh,
declining
definitely.
on Woobly. They are declining on Woobly. That's like only maybe 2 or 3 users on every other game. I think
Exactly.
they
Like
might
that's
have
what I was
been
gonna
they might
say.
have been they
Limited.
might have been bigger in the past, but Woobly has just been concentrating so hard on Age of Empires 2, and the focus was always so hard on Age of Empires 2 that it's inevitable, kind of, that they're dying out without the support, without the huge support from the Woobly staff.
Exactly.
I can't really comment too much on it because maybe the games are dying out themselves. But seeing as huge as the support is for Age of Empires 2 on Woobly, there's nothing much left for the other games.
Yeah, and personally, I can't really complain on that. I'm here for AOC,
Yeah,
right?
we are
So
both Age of Empires 2 players. We can't really
exactly.
complain about it.
And no big deal to me, but sorry for everyone else.
But like the utopia would be if like all the communities in Age of Empires 2 would kind of magically join together, like becoming
know,
this huge big thing.
yes, and I think a big misconception from players who don't want to switch over is a couple things. Like if you're coming from Steam, and let's say you know about Voobly very well, a lot of, for example, a lot of like Zero Empires fans, they're aware of Voobly at this point.
Oh, they are very well aware of
They're
that.
very much aware. But if he joins the lobby on Steam, that game will fill in a second. you know. So they're all on Steam because they're not very good. Let's be honest with you, they're not very good. So here's the thing: they don't want to come to Voobly because they don't want to get crushed, right?
Yeah.
But if everyone comes onto one platform, all the ratings are going to level out based off your skill level, and then you can all enjoy the the benefits of that platform and having everyone in one community. So, you know,
Yeah, if hypothetically all the Steam players would move over, like the regular Steam players I see nowadays are like HD rating wise 18 until 18 plus. There's not much higher than that
correct.
going on at the moment, really, if I look at the lobbies. So and other players just move to Woobly basically.
Exactly.
But so if all these players would come, there would be a then we would need a new solution for the new player lobby, but because new player lobby is already filled with more players than Medieval Siege basically, so we would need a solution for that. But I think Woobly would still be very welcoming to these players, of course, and it would be a good addition. I mean, a lot of players we today see in the Nations Cup, for example, are from the Steam version or are coming from HD and
Yeah.
eventually moved on from to Woobly. Like in the USA A team, there's 18 Rabbit who was on on Steam version before, and there's in the half of the Australian team consists of ex HD players. Say so.
Yeah.
I'm coming from HD, and LB10 is coming from HD for the Austrian team.
Rabbit is a good friend of mine, actually. When he played on HD all the time, so obviously, around me as well. Um, I think he topped out at like 2,300
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on Steam. But anyway, we played 1v1 all the time just to practice, and he's creamed me every time. But yeah, he's a good friend, and it was great to see that he finally made the move. I was kind of wondering if he's ever going to do it, and it's
Yeah,
good.
he was very late compared to other
Yeah,
players.
certainly.
Yeah. But yeah, let's move on and talk about the tournaments a little bit. Like there are a lot of tournaments going on at the moment. There have been a lot of tournaments going on in the past couple of years actually, or in the past year. There's the Nations Cup going on at the moment. We've been over the group stage now. I don't think we had a lot of upsets. I don't think we had any upsets actually. There's mostly been 3-0s in total and pretty conclusive games. And I think we'll get into the exciting game after the playoff stage now. After when we go into the what's it called? I think group stage. I think it's called group stage.
It's called the group stage, yes.
Yeah, it's called the group stage. I think we'll have a very exciting games, and it's been always very busy, especially on the Woobly channels in the last few weekends. Like stream 24/7 on one weekend, basically.
Like, yeah, I've been loving it, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty stressful actually. Like
yeah, I mean, I've been loving it as someone who's actually not working with Woobly Official yet.
Like tough is insane. The work he does, like he's always on point with the schedule. He knows when to do what. He organizes every caster. He's like everywhere at the same time, and it's managing everything. Yeah, it's fascinating. I couldn't do it. Couldn't honestly do it. But I'm not tough.
Yeah, well, it goes it looks like it goes qualification stage, playoff stage, group stage, final stage, or at least that's the order I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
That it doesn't make sense to me. I feel like playoff would be before finals. But anyway, we're certainly in the qualification right now with that tournament.
Yeah, and the qualification stage is now over, and we're on the playoff stage right now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, not many upsets. Who do you think is the favorite for this tournament? I don't know if you're.
I don't know.
Certainly it's like China and Brazil A. China A and Brazil A are the top favorites for most.
Yeah, exactly. And I think China A. They're strong. I mean, it depends. The thing is that it's hard to pick a favorite in this game.
Yeah, it's always comes down to how they're in shape on this certain day and everything.
But it's hard to pick a favorite, but you can kind of go off of past tournaments and the players,
Yeah. The thing is, what did I want to say? I wanted to say that Um, the fascinating thing about China is I get a little bit of into the Chinese community now, is that their D team, like they have a China A, B, C, and D team. So they have 4 teams in total, and their D team consists of only 2K players on Woobly. That is so
Yeah,
mind blowing to me. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they
That
have a
there's
lot of people there, of course, but
that there's so many of them.
it's still mind blowing because they're not even 2K. They might be 2K1 because all their rates have decayed by now.
Yeah.
But it's still mind blowing to me. I mean, there are a lot of players, of course, but still.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's hard for me in team tournaments, um, for me to call like an out and out winner, with the exception of the tournaments where it's not Nations Cup,
Okay.
where like with tyrants involved, where they have all the top players on one team, then it's
Yeah,
like
but
very easy to choose.
in general, I think the team that is more evened out along the ratings, and do you feel that they really know each other or they're playing a lot of each other, they are generally the favorites. Like, if you have a
Mhm.
team of, like it was today, Sweden A against Brazil Z, on the one side you have Brazil C with like 1900 plus players, and then you have Sweden A with Spaden as a 2K player, and the other players are all like 1700 and 1800 and one rusty expert, like really rusty expert.
Yeah.
It's generally the Brazil team I would favor in this kind of setup because they know each other better. They play more, of course, because they're all active, as to the Swedish team only having a rusty expert and some other players who are not really playing with each other a lot. And they might even be rating wise on average even, but I still would favor the Brazilian team.
Yeah, I think you're right. Overall skill is important, but also you have to gel well together. If you're not playing consistently, that's one thing, and then you have to play consistently together too.
Yeah.
So
Okay, now let's talk about another tournament, WCVG. Isn't it exciting that players like in a 16-year-old game are going to the Maldives to play on the
yeah,
mountain?
yeah, it's pretty cool. It adds a little bit of little bit of spice to it for sure.
Not only that, a lot of money as well.
Yeah, yeah, that. I mean,
And what?
I'm really happy for
Yeah.
the game in general. Like, forget the players for a moment. The game in general, this is a good sign, you know.
Well, yeah, it's just been has been growing the last year since
Yes.
I thought it was growing when I entered the scene like 1 year ago, but it has been growing since then, and it's still not stopping. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I
It's
like.
it's awesome. It's awesome. Yes. You know, people are loving these tournaments, and they're it used to be just being a fanboy or fangirl of certain players. Now they're really latching on to all the top players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
All
it's
about
good.
the
I'm loving it.
fanboys and fangirls.
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But yeah, I mean, I used to watch like all streams with the Viper like be so sky high, and then no other streams,
Yeah.
be that high. But now they're all being consistent with numbers, and I'm seeing people root for players that they never would have root for in recent years.
Yeah, the other
They
thing is that there are so many people streaming this game as well. There's not 1 hour like where there's no AOC stream on Twitch.
yeah,
Like should
yep,
whether it be the HD version or the Age of Empires original.
yep. Even if it's a 1500 Boogly player, like there's a stream out there, right? So
Yeah, and they can be exciting as well. It's not like
oh, of course,
most players are not better than that level. Let's be honest.
yep.
And it can be exciting as well. I mean, I occasionally watch 1600 HD players just if when I'm bored,
Yeah, yeah. When you're bored.
and brag a little bit. Uh, uh,
We were
okay.
all there at one point, so no
Yeah,
hate,
of
no hate
course.
at all. But in regards to the tournament, I think there's been a lot of surprising results.
WCVG. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. For example.
Um, well, not a lot. I shouldn't say a lot,
Okay.
but
But give me an example.
I think Jordan yesterday was
Was
I
Wrath? Well,
Wrath is a strong
Wrath.
player, and
The thing I know about Wrath is that he's a very old expert. That he has been an expert like forever, but hasn't been playing too much.
yeah.
I know that he's a very good player, and he has, of course, shown that he's a very good player. But yeah,
Yeah, of course. I mean, I casted a lot of his games early on my YouTube channel, and he was very strong, and I was certainly was a big fan of that. But just the way Jordan just he made so many mistakes, and whether it was his micro or just like some of the things that he did, I felt it just wasn't Jordan for me. So that was surprising. It was a little bit disappointing, but
maybe
I'm
he
happy
gets
Wrath.
back into shape until the Maldives.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know. I think his exams will be done by now. I
yeah,
hope so for him, and now he will have a little bit more time with his
yeah.
girlfriend and everything.
Yeah, of course. We all have to balance out our lives with this
Yeah.
game, of course, and
It's hard. It's hard. It's really hard in my opinion because, well, you you want to get better eventually, and you want to get better, of course, especially when you see other players who were around with you the last months getting better. You want to get better as well. Don't want to
yeah,
fall behind in comparison to your friends, and uh, you also have to do like studying, like with me at university and everything. Then you have maybe eventually to work as well.
yep. Yeah,
Then
it's rough.
well,
I
and some of us have friends as well. I don't know about that, but like real
Yeah.
life friends and
I'm
girlfriends and everything.
I have very few, and not because I'm not popular, but because I make sure they're real friendships,
Yeah.
So, but
Still, it's hard to
otherwise,
balance. It's hard to balance.
yeah, it's very hard to balance. I will say this, like if you're a top player, I find a lot of top players kind of lose motivation a little bit.
I can
Once
totally
they're
understand that. I lose motivation after 3 games.
Yeah, like they lose motivation a little tiny bit, and that's what we see in some of these tournaments. Because of course life and stuff. Like if they were getting paid for this game, they'd be all over
Of
it.
course.
They're
I
not
mean,
getting paid enough
I can
to
totally
support
understand
themselves.
everyone who. I mean, I'm still saying real life above AOC. It's simple as that.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you say otherwise, then you should maybe overthink your life's decisions.
yeah.
No
See a
offense to
doctor.
anybody, but
See a doctor, man.
it's not a professional game. It's not an esport yet. It's
Yeah.
It
Yeah, well,
eventually
imagine-
never will be.
Hey,
and
maybe we'll be talking
think-
on our podcast 10 years from now, and
I
we'll
think-
be,
I
we'll
think
be making
a lot of
making millions.
a lot of players wouldn't be in the community anymore if it was an esport or if it was so popular. I think the really good thing about AOC is that small community. That's what's so appealing to me. Small community
I
where
do like that. You're right.
nearly,
There is a.
nearly everyone knows everybody. Like,
I think it's very cool that I can have and already have had communication with some of the top players. Like,
yeah, that's
either ever.
like it was so
Or-
weird because one time Helene, also known as Nonsensical 91, was
Mhm.
streaming. Was like I think it was last year in winter or something, and yeah, I was playing with her on HD like casual games and such, and all of a sudden Viper joins. Randomly because he wants to troll Helene or something, and then he joins TS, and all of a sudden everybody was messaging me like, "You're on TeamSpeak with Viper," and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I was just like an 1800 HD player back then, but
Yeah.
it was so funny. It was so funny.
Yeah, it is. That's the cool part about it. I think I still I would rather have the community large. I would rather have the community large for the better of the game. I think that I mean, I would almost have to compare what it would be like versus what it is now. But I mean, if we could have our top players like devote some more time to the game because they'd possibly be maybe making a little bit of money off of it. I mean, imagine what could happen. We'll see. I think right now though it's going great.
It is going great, yeah.
It's fantastic. WSVG has
And
been
there are a
a
lot of
blast
new
so
players
far.
coming as well. I mean, new experts like young experts like Winchester and Hera, who
Yeah.
are like 16, 17, 18, whatever.
I want to know why who like showed them the game. Because I'm 20
I guess siblings.
I'm
Or-
guessing that because I'm 22 and my brother's 23. He showed me I watched him play the game like over his shoulder on dial-up.
But I mean, Hera
Uh,
is about as old as the game itself.
you're right, and it
And then I
appeals to
know
him,
other
which is
players who are
interesting.
like 12 who are now playing online on Woobly. 12.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, you
I
know,
mean, they were
this
born in 2003.
like I thought all these kids would be playing like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto and be wasting their lives on some stupid game. Sorry, I think it's stupid.
Okay.
So, like, it's awesome, that I'm seeing that. It's awesome that we're seeing all these new players come in. And obviously, as we've seen in this game, the top players stay around for the most part.
Yeah, they do.
And it's not like a
Because
sport
they
where
they
after
love the
5
game as
years
well.
you
That's
age.
why they play it. I mean,
Yeah,
some of these top experts have been playing this game since the release, basically.
yeah,
Like Jeanette has been playing. Like Jeanette's not a top expert, but he's really big in the community and he's helping the community as well. And he has been playing since the release, what I know of. And then there, I think a lot of players on Reddit or users on Reddit or on the Steam forums always think of Woobly as a very hostile place. But if you are willing to get yourself out there and get yourself known, and if you know where your place is skill wise, so I don't want to be rude, but if you know where your place is and everything, uh, everybody is welcome in the Woobly community, and everybody is really helpful and everything.
yeah. The biggest fear from someone who's a low-ranked player coming to Voobly is that they're gonna just be stomped on. You have to find your little niche, your little
Yeah, but
group.
new player lobby shouldn't be too hard.
And it's not. It's
Like I
not. I mean,
think,
there's a lot. There's plenty of 1100,
uh,
1200 players
yeah,
there.
1100, 1200 players. That translates roughly into 15, 1600 players on Steam.
Yeah.
A
Yep.
little bit. Like it's hard to generalize, but about that level.
I know a couple players who aren't really the greatest on Steam, and they've made Voobly accounts, and not necessarily because they want to abandon Steam, but because I've said, hey, like, you can just stop what you're doing and watch 2K Plus player play on Voobly. You can't do that on Steam. It's a lot of different things you can do, and I just there's a lot of things, a lot of appealing
Well,
things
the
you can do. Yeah, yeah.
spectator thing alone is worth to get Woobly for.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I
It's
think
really nice,
it's
and
great. It's great. It's great.
there's just a lot of features it has, and I just
But
I
to be
kind of
honest, the
wish
first
like I
time
could.
I downloaded Woobly, I was
Mhm.
lost and I didn't really
You're right. You're right.
feel the need to get into it because I was on Steam already and everything, and I just started out on Steam basically. But I heard of Woobly and I wanted to test it out. So I think I Woobly was a dead program on my PC for like 3 or 4 months roughly, and I didn't use it at all. Then when I got better, eventually I moved over to it because I knew there were better players and everything, and it exploded.
Yeah,
And
I
I got to know Woobly better through watching streams, how it
exactly.
worked, how where I'm supposed to go basically, what I'm supposed to do on Woobly, and how like learn the ropes through streams basically, watching
It is
streams.
kind of foreign, it is kind of foreign when you first start out because you can access several different lobbies, while in Steam, for example, there's one lobby.
Yeah, yeah. And you
Um,
don't even if it says new player lobby, especially when you're not familiar with the rating, you're like, uh, am I now supposed to play a new player lobby? I'm now, let's say I'm 1700 Steam. Am I supposed to play a new player lobby now? Am I supposed
yeah.
to play Medieval Siege? What am I going to do? And first time ever I tried to game Woobly, I saw like the warning, don't new bash on new player lobby, and I didn't even know what like the HD rating translates into. And so I went into Medieval Siege and joined the team game, and they immediately kicked me because I was a zero gamer. And then I quit Woobly for like 3 months and said,
Oh
"Fuck
wow,
this."
that really bothered you. Wow.
And that bothered me, yes. And I eventually got introduced to Tony's stream, the Hunter. I don't know if you know him, and watched him play. And I thought, wait, this guy's a 1500 on Woobly. He's playing much better than me. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And I was then at that time I was roughly 1800 or something on HD, and I was like, "What? I have to really step my game up." And then I joined new player lobby and climbed my ladder up there, and didn't play on HD anymore. Then I got into Medieval Siege. Then I got back into HD and was nearly 2K there already. So if you want to improve, play on Woobly, basically.
Yeah, and I don't even think that's just the case. I mean, you can still have good games, even if you're like a player who plays relaxed and maybe leaves an idle villager there every now and then.
We all do that.
Your rating is gonna translate that. So if everyone, let's say, in a perfect world, everyone came to one platform, you know, if you're a lazy AoE player, you're going to be with the rest of the AoE players in the rating. So, you know, it's not like you're going to be matched up with everyone else.
The vast majority of players are the players who you are describing now.
Yeah. And
it's the majority,
I mean,
like
the ones that aren't on Voobly for the most part, or playing lower ranks than the new player lobby, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, now let's get to the last tournament that's going on at the moment, the Empire Collective Cup, hosted by Zero Empires on Woobly. In my honest opinion, I didn't think that it would work out as well as it did for now. Like, we saw Zero Empires now today on 1K1 viewers, I think.
Yeah.
And it's helping Woobly because they know it's getting hosted on Woobly and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And these games between the Viper and Loiza were great today. Did you see them?
I was out all day, came back to do this, and I'm gonna see them. I'm excited, and
but they were really great. I can recommend to watch them.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Especially the arena game was crazy. And
no spoilers now.
No spoilers. No spoilers. I'm just saying. Resonance would have been excited as hell.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think the biggest thing that Zero did, or Zach did, or whatever you call him, to really help this tournament get to where it is right now, is his choice to not do the balance patch, and not because the balance patch is like an awful bad thing. We're not going to get into that, but a lot of players are opposed to that, the best players, and it just, a lot of players, or I can probably say 100% of players, are okay with playing the regular version.
It's dividing the community even further.
Yeah.
And there's always this yeah, but it's played on balance patch, and there's always this little thing in the background, which is not that big of a deal, but it's still in the background. Like,
yeah, I like the fact he asked the community. It was on AOC Zone, and he asked for a vote. And I thought he wanted to do it, but I think he saw that it was better to leave it at that. And I'm really happy. On another note, I'm really happy that the whole Woobly and Zero Empire versus Zero Empire thing finally got kind of resolved. Yeah,
I didn't really want to touch that topic, but I'm just saying that I'm really happy that it kind of got resolved in the end. I mean, there was a lot of bitching in the end, but whatever, I don't care.
I think last week we were really scared to talk about that, and now it's kind of all been swept under the rug, and they're hosting each other now as channels. And
I think they solved it in the background, like private.
Possibly,
private
yeah.
messages.
I mean, I saw some things on the
Tough,
forums.
for example, Tough never goes out into public with everything that goes on behind the scenes. Never, ever. Never, ever, ever. He's like one of those guys who does all in private and knows exactly what has to go out there and what has to stay in the background, if you know what I mean.
And that was the mistake on Zach's part and from some of the Voobly staff's part, to be honest with you. But anyway, it's all.
We didn't want to go into that.
It's all gone now.
It's all gone now, and I hope we're out for an even better growing of the community, and even better experience, overall community experience, because this Zero Empires vs Woobly stuff was already around when I came into the community, so I don't know anything much about anything differently. Actually, it was already there when I came in.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where we are going.
Yeah, I'm really glad that was swept under the rug. And this tournament is really good. He got a lot of top players, so it's like we have
Yeah.
two big tournaments going on at once.
Especially with sponsoring and everything.
Yeah, he's got some really, I mean, he's got some sponsors to donate a lot of money for the players and for the tournament, which is pretty cool.
Well, okay, I think that's enough for now, for today, for the first episode.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, T90, for your guest appearance. Maybe we'll hear each other on another topic. We will see. And thank you everybody for listening. Next episode will be about the art of casting. I don't know the guest yet. I have to figure that out. But yeah, see you there.